Or should I say, top of the morning to you. Hello, Ken, gentleman prospector. It's a wonderful day. It's a Thursday morning. I'm here in Missouri. How about that live stream last night with Mama Bird and Miller Outdoors? Wasn't that amazing? That was a lot of fun. It was a tiny adventure. Great time. While I was watching them during their live, as they was feeding the tiny sluice and then running the micro sluice to try to catch all the little fine golds, I thought to myself, I said, that's pretty awesome the way that sluice system is running. Any sluice system is running. Hello, Guppy Dilly Suit. Howdy, howdy. Welcome in, Guppy. Fran Goth here. Howdy, howdy. Top of the morning to you. Here's a little Goldgers in your cup. Tonight's stream, I thought this is a perfect opportunity because I sat and reflected on it for quite a while. Lisa, howdy Lisa, I'm glad you're here. Good morning, top of the morning to you. Have some Goldgers in your cup. We're going to be talking about sluicing. I'm going to be running all this. These are the tellings from last night, from Mama Bird last night. She done pretty good. She recovered 0.20, but I think there's more gold in here than that. And I'm going to run the tellings and find out. And while we're doing it, we're going to talk a little bit about the way that sluices work. All sluices basically work the same way. When we change the way they work is when we change the matting systems in. But they all work, and they work through specific gravity. Dina, top of the morning to you. And getting a grasp on the specific gravity is going to make us, me, and everyone out there better at prospecting. So, how does that work? What is specific gravity, you might say? You've heard GP talk about that. Well, specific gravity is talking about the density in the material. Every element has specific gravity to it. And what that means is what density is inside of water compared to water. Now we all know that water weighs 8.33 pounds per gallon. Let's take quartz for instance. Quartz has a specific gravity of about 2.5 to 3%. Magnetite. This here material is full of magnetite, the heavy black sands. Most of them are magnetite, hematite. And they both have a specific gravity of about 5 to 5.5%. That's getting heavier. It means it's 5 to 5.5 times heavier than the water is. I hope everyone's having a great day. Rob, top of the morning to you, my friend. Little Goldgers in your cup, sir. So everything out there has a specific gravity. There is so many charts out there that you can look it up on. The thing is knowing if you're going to use specific gravity in a sluice recovery system. The thing is what are you trying to recover? Because you can use it for multiple of things. They use sluices to recover lead, copper, silver, iron, and of course gold, AU. The thing that we're trying to recover today. And knowing that is going to let us know how to adjust our sluice, what degree pitch, you might say, you want to set it up at. Now, with this particular sluice, the Flyer Gold Wizard Micro Mini Cleanup Sluice, it's designed to clean up tiny, tiny, tiny little Flyer Gold, little powder gold, little tiny bits. Well, they're worth saving, trust me. They add up fast because no matter how small that tiny little flake of gold is, it still has a density of 19.3%, 19.3 times heavier than water. It's the densest thing that we're going to be running, and it's the densest thing that's in the waters and the creeks and the rivers around there. So that it means it's going to fall out before anything else does. Now the key factor is what's going to make it fall out. Well, you have to take into consideration there's variables in all of this. One of the variables is the slope. Rivers, rivers aren't level. They slope to and fro, and it makes the water flow go faster, or slower. They get narrower and wider, which again makes the water flow speed up or slow down. Now with this particular sluice system that we're running here, this is a 3-inch wide sluice system, very narrow, so it doesn't take much water flow. I've got this hooked up to an 1100 GPH pump. So it's going to be a very low setting because that's a fast pump system. And if I turn my speed controller down there to where I've got my V coming off, and that V indicates drop zone in area 1, then that should be what we need. Now, the way water flow and specific gravity works, is this water flow going to move this tiny sand? Absolutely. There is enough flow in that 3-inch wide sluice to move this tiny sand. With that being said, could I move this huge piece of quartz and rhyolite encased in rhyolite? Yeah, check that bad monker out. Pretty cool, huh? Could I move that with this amount of water flow in a 3-inch sluice? No. However, with enough water flow, this is going to move too. This is going to move. This would almost seem, and this is heavy, this is probably 8 pounds, I would guess. With enough water flow in the right area, this would almost seem to float. This 8-pound piece of quartz would almost seem to float. It would just push down through there and roll down through there. Rocks that are denser than water can be moved by swift water. Due to the force of the flowing water, this is called shear stress. And we call it shear stress by the way that it shears off. A lot of things can affect it. Most of these rocks, this one here, if you threw it into a river, it would sink right to the bottom. Now, depending on how fast that river's moving, it might move and then tumble on the bottom. That's the same way that gold works. Even though gold has a density of 19.3%, it's going to move. Plus, gold also is hydrophobic in nature. That means gold doesn't actually like water. We find most of our gold around water, but it don't really like it. It's hydrophobic. Ringo and Czar, howdy. And Gotti said, no, it won't. Yes, it will. I promise you, Dan. Even this. Look at this. Look at this giant piece of granite right here. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that a beautiful piece of granite with all that wonderful hematite and magnetite streaked through there, all that pink quartz forming that granite. This monker right here, it'll move too. It'll move right through there. The shear force is the hydraulic action in the water. That's what turns it up. It impacts the rocks and the surface and the pressure fluctuation. Anytime you have that pressure fluctuation, it's going to move things. It's kind of like a sonic boom. When we're outside and you're at an air show and you hear a sonic boom, the jets take off real fast, you hear that boom, sonic boom. Well, the water fluctuation, that's the way it's working in the water, same way. And that's through that shear force is what's moving that stuff down the stream. And, there's water velocity discharge, there's turbulence, there's bed flow transportation, and critical shear stress. These are all factors on how these big boulders move down it. We're not going to be sluicing nothing like this. I'd say that there's people around there in the world that are running sluices and running material this size down their sluices. It's going to have to take a lot of shear force to move that down their sluice box. Today, we're just running sand, basically. Tiny little beach sands from the Flower Gold Wizard. This is the Black Poison. These are the tellings at Mama Birdland last night. And I'm going to see if there's any gold that she missed in there. But I wanted to talk just a little bit about the specific gravity and how shear force can move the water. 34 amazing people in here. Roaming with Ringo, Dan Gotti here. We got a hobo Rob, the train conductor. Two Galeases off in here this morning. Howdy, howdy. We got some amazing folks in here. What I want to do now, the flow. We were talking about the pitch and the flow. So the greater the flow, the easier it is for something to move. Think about a marble. If it's level, the marble sits static. If there's any kind of tilt at all, the marble starts to move. Same way with the material that we're running. The tilt helps move the material. Essentially, specific gravity is going to make the denser object go to the bottom. That doesn't mean the bottom's going to catch it. It can still move. So that's where your riffles come into effect. And with the Flyer Gold Wizard Micro Cleanup Sluice, these riffles are cut at an angle, and they're bisecting. And they run up at an angle, and then they slop back at an angle. It is not just a straight up and down D mat. They're cut at an angle like this. The way that Wesley designed them, they work magnificently. However, if you have your pitch too strong, you're still going to blow that tiny gold out the end. If you have your water level too fast, you're still going to blow that tiny gold out the end. That's just the way that it is. And a lot of variables can change it. See, I'm running this off of battery. As the battery voltage go down, it can slow my water pressure down. As you know, there's a lot of things that can happen to change my water flow. We hope that it doesn't, but it can. How is it from India? There as well there. Hey Fred, and welcome in from India, my friend. Where everyone's welcome here. We're doing good here. Trying to keep up with chat. 53 amazing people already. I want to have a little Goldgers in my cup here. So let's put a scoop in there and see what happens. See how our flow's looking. Now I can see the cloud of black sand going down, and they designed this and separated it up into zones. There's 7 zones, and I can now see black sand all the way down in zone 7, and the lighter material. You know, there's names for the lighter material. We'll just call it waste rock. Believe it or not, ganj is the name that is used for the lighter material, the scientific name. Most folks call ganj something else, but ganj is waste. Ganj is waste material. And the waste, the lighter specific gravity, is what we're trying to get rid of. And all the way down, you know, get rid of any of the limonites, the quartz, the silicon, the feldspar, the black sands, magnetites, hematites. These are items that we want to push down. And this essentially seems to be working. I'm going to leave it kind of at that right now. I don't know, you guys really can't see that. I should probably put that camera where you guys can see that better. Hippie Explorer, howdy, welcome in, my friend. Top of the morning to you. There's a little Goldgers in your cup, just for you. That's good Goldgers. We're talking about specific gravity, density, water flow, and shear force. Everything that makes up a sluice system. If you know the science behind the way a sluice works, essentially you can create your own sluice, or you can use a variable of other things, sluices that are already out there, to improve the sluice system that you're using. And that's what we're doing today. See, when a slurry of gold-bearing material, which this is right here, ore and water flows through a sluice box, the denser gold particles, they fall out, they drop out. Due to the higher specific gravity, they tend to settle at the bottom of the sluice. The lighter ganj or waste material, it gets pushed away and moves out. And the gold remains suspended in the water while the others is carried away. And that's basically what we want. We want all that light material, anything that density is less than 19.3%, which is what gold is, we want it to work its way down the sluice. The less material that we have to pan through at the very end, the greater chance we have at recovering the tiny, small particles of gold. A lot of people don't consider the tiny, tiny, small particles of gold even worth it. A lot of sluice manufacturers, they talk about, you know, a 96, 97, 98% recovery. But if you're a prospector, a hobbyist like me, like Hobo Rob is, like Dan Gothier is, hey, Eddie's RV, welcome in. We're sluicing some gold today. We're running some gold. Lisa says she just got up at 6:15 there. Lisa, it's 8:15 here. I got up this morning. And I'm having Goldgers in my cup. Run a little bit of this off in there. Yeah, that live stream last night, that was a good time. A lot of fun. This is carrying all my gone down on my waist down through there. It's dropping the waste in here. It's separating it. The less material that we have, the better chance we have at recovering that fine gold. And what I was saying was, if you're losing even 2%, even 1%, if you're losing 1% of your gold and it's fine gold, then you're basically leaving money on the table. If you're going out there, you know, to try to make some money, get as much gold as possible. Because if you're losing 1% and you're getting 0.10 grams out of each bucket that you run out, and these are just easy numbers to follow, you're losing 0.01 grams of gold in each bucket. Every 10 buckets, it's like getting a free bucket of gold if you're able to capture that. Think about that. So every 10 buckets, you're getting an extra 0.10 grams. If you're recovering more than that on average, if you're recovering 20%, then you're getting 0.20. If you're recovering 30.30 grams per 5-gallon bucket, then you're losing 0.03 grams. So every 10 buckets, again, a free bucket. You know, it's a free recovery. And it's all a numbers game. When you're prospecting, it's all a numbers game. All gold matters. We got to recover it all. The more we recover, the better we are. And this is some amazing material to demonstrate this with. And that's what I was thinking while Mama Bird and Carl was running their sluices last night. I was watching Mama Birds run down, and I'm like, oh wow, you know, this is some super heavy, super dense material. I can see some gold. I can see some flower gold, tiny little micros in here that got missed. And that's why we're doing this. A micro fine gold recovery system, even if you only ever use it at home in a controlled environment, and I recommend that, is essential if you're really looking to recover the absolute maximum amount of gold you can recover from any place, anywhere you're at. Because if you're finding big chunky gold and your sluice system's just recovering big chunky gold, but you're not seeing flower gold, and you're thinking, there must just not be no flower gold here. Well, there's flower gold there, because as these big rocks, like I was explaining, as this is being pushed down by the force of water during a flood or natural disaster, and it's rolling around and it's kicking around, well, it's also everything that's encrusted and embedded in it. And I mean, this piece of quartz encased rhyolite is just, it's got so many embedments in it. And Mama Bird won't let me crush this, or I would have already crushed it. This is one of her favorite plates that she got out of an hotel in Creek, and it is a beautiful specimen, but I'm almost certain it's full of gold too. But anyhow, you can see the mineralization that's running through all that quartz. And the concaves, it's got so many cavities in it. It's absolutely beautiful. But as this is rolling through there, little pieces are dropping off. It's breaking up. It's moving it. And it's creating that flower gold. The same thing that's leaving that chunky gold that your sluice system is finding or you're finding in your pan, it's leaving flower gold too. The thing is you're probably not seeing it. If you're not thinking you're getting flower gold, you're either not recovering it or you're not panning it out. Howdy, howdy. Look there, Bent Fork Prospecting. Welcome in. Adventures in Michigan with Lisa. Welcome in. Top of the morning to you both. Crush it, says Dan, right? And I want to. I really do. Mom Bird said no. Joe Weiss. Howdy, Joe. Welcome in, my friend. We're talking about sluicing today. So, you might ask GP, you might say, GP, so the Flyer Gold Wizard sluice, I don't care nothing about the science behind it. Just tell me, what pitch should I set that up? What should I set my pitch finder at? Or my device that I'm using to get my angle at? Personally, I like it between 4 and 5. When I'm recovering gold this tiny, I like to set my sluice up at 4 or 5 degrees. Now out on the river, I'm going to bump that up between 8 and 9 degrees, depending on what the material is that I'm running. If it's super heavy, like where Joe is, where Joe's at, it is solid black sand. So material down there in the mountain range is just so rich. It's got a lot of micro gold in it, but it's solid black sand, so heavy and so dense material. So in that case, I'm going to back it off just a little bit. And if I was to set a river sluice up, I'd probably set it up between 7 and 8 instead of between 8 and 9. I would lose that little bit so that that smaller stuff had a better chance of getting caught in the first run by slowing that flow down. Now the good thing is, as narrow as they designed this, Wesley and Jason, as narrow as they designed this, it's fairly easy for anyone to set it up and catch gold. Now, if you catch gold in it, and let's say, because I've done controlled studies on this sluice, and that's why I determined to go between a 4 and 5 degrees, because at 6 degrees it was spitting gold out, tiny flower gold. At 3 degrees it was holding everything. My whole mat turned black and I couldn't get rid of any of my gons, any of my waste material. Therefore, I settled with this one. That's why we do control studies. Or listen to somebody that has done the control study on the equipment and take their advice. I can see these black sands moving every time I put it in there. This is doing exactly what it should be doing. I'm losing my guns in there. I'm collecting my gold out of here. Hopefully. And what I'm looking to recover, what I think that I will recover out of this, added with what Mama Bird recovered 0 grams last night out of it, using her tiny equipment, and she done good. I thought that she done great. I'm looking to recover at least around 0.05 out of these, making a total of around 1/4 gram, which would be awesome, because we all know the gold's at $108 a gram today, and 1/4 gram of gold is about 30 bucks. 45 degrees, no, 425. Let me talk a little slower. Buddy Biggs, welcome in, buddy. We got 49 amazing people in here on this beautiful, beautiful day in the Ozarks. You know, I was watching the weather last night, and the weatherman said that get ready, expect triple-digit temperatures again this weekend, starting today. So, yeah, I think the high today is going to be 98, and then tomorrow it's supposed to hit 100 again, and then by Saturday, 101. And me and Mama Bird are wanting so bad to go down and prospect with Joe. Joe moved a little farther up the creek from where we was at, he was telling me. And he sent me some pictures. He found a gold specimen. He found, I don't know how much. I don't know the weight, but looking at it, it's a lot. that he found in that. There's a lot of nice flyer gold. It's got me excited. I'm ready to get back down there and dig some more. I definitely see some gold being deposited in here. I'm watching my matting system, and I'm going slow. I'm in no hurry. I mean, we're talking about fine gold recovery. When we get to this point, we've already taken anything big out of there. So we're only looking for the tiniest of tiny, the fine gold, and I'm seeing it up in here. I'm seeing it in sections 1 and 2 dominantly. Wesley half full. Top of the morning to you, my friend. We are running some black poison down the micro mini cleanup sluice that you designed, you and Jason. And I'm going to tell you what, this is the tellings that Mama Bird ran last night during the tiny adventures. I want to see how much gold she missed. This sluice is working perfectly. It's getting rid of all the waste. The waste, I can see it going into my catch pan. The gold is setting up here. There's still a lot of the heavier, the magnetites. Magnetite, you know, it's got a specific gravity of 5 to 5.5%. You know, gold's got a specific gravity of 13.3 or 19.3%. So, you know, I can see why it would settle in there. Now, could I turn this volume up and get rid of more of the gons, get rid of more of the waste material? Yes, I could. But in essence, any of the stuff that's tinier than the waste material, the gold, could also be lost. It could push it out. Because then we're not just talking about density, we're talking about, you know, the overall size and the geometric shape of the gold, whether it's flat or not. That has a lot to do with it. So there are a lot of variables in sluicing. We usually don't think about that. We usually just get our material and sluice it. It's when it gets down to this process, when it gets down to the small stuff, that's when we want to start thinking about it. The way that the gold settles in here, even though it's got 19.3% specific gravity, it's going to have a lot of variables to it. Size is going to be one of the key variables. Shape, that's another key variable. And another key variable is whether or not you capture it, is the mat design. The mat design. That's why, you know, so many people, for their micro gold cleanup, they fall back on the old miner's moss, because the miner's moss will stop the fine gold usually, unless it absorbs and goes all the way through and runs under. That can happen. So we got a good flow going. We're agitating our material as it runs down. That's keeping the gons, the waste material, moving. The lighter waste material is moving down the sluice, and it's going into our catch pad. And the heaviest of the heavies, the most dense items, which is the gold, the magnetite, the hematite, some of the quartz, some of the feldspar, that stuff's going to stay into the sluice system. At this point, it's key that the sluice doesn't fill up. If the sluice fills up, the sluice runs. If you can't see them exchanging anymore, whether it's this uniquely designed matting system that Wesley and Jason designed, and they're not like the V-mat. They're not just straight up and down. These are cut like this, guys, so that they actually create a vortex down here. They're so small you can't see them hardly working unless you use a magnifying glass, but they are working. They all are working. I need to add a little water to this. Get some of this stuff washed down here. Get some of it washed down one time. We're getting down to the bottom. Getting down to the nitty gritty. North Storm, Third Devil Detective. Welcome in, guys. Tim Ivan. Howdy, howdy. 49 amazing people. I didn't even see it. I've been ignoring chat. I'm sorry. I'm a horrible host. Bad GP. Bad GP. Yeah, we got the most of it. I don't know if we got it all, but we got the most of it. And we're going to let that run for just a minute. We're going to let it run. I can see some shiny in there. I think I see some tiny little pieces of silver in there, but I do see a lot of gold in there. And then what's left, we pan out. We clean it out and we pan it out. Not that hard to figure out. Get a little Goldgers in your cup. Dawn Marie, top of the morning to you. Welcome in. Glad to have you, Dawn. Brand Gothier's in there. Tomcat Josh, howdy. So I'm going to go around here. I'm going to plug my phone in while you guys are talking to one another. Got that plugged in, a little harder than I thought. Jack, how you doing? Welcome in. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Taking a look at that. Looking good. We're going to clean this out. We're going to see what kind of gold's in there. Let's see if we make specific gravity work in our favor today. So I'm going to shut that off. Get my gold pan out here. Set it down here. Let's turn this where you guys can kind of see me, kind of watch me do the clean out maybe. Now clean out's not bad on this. What we got to do to get this monker cleaned out is tilt it up, turn the speed controller back on. We got it up at about a 75-degree angle now, and we're letting the speed controller and the water flow push all that dense material that it held on to down into the sluice, like in the so. Then all we have to do is finish rinsing out any of the cells that might have a little bit left in it. And that top cell looks like it does have a tiny bit of gold left in it. So I'm going to rinse that out. Rinse it out good. I think we got it. We got it. That was easy. We got it. Land of Steel, welcome in. 5 Mile, howdy, howdy. 72 amazing people in here. Please remember to smash that thumbs up. And subscribe if you haven't already. It's free. And anything free is worth saving up for. So we're going to move the camera just a little bit. Get it right there. That sun's coming in strong this morning. Feels good too. Already warm out here. So I want to show you. This is what the Flyer Gold Wizard Micro Mini Cleanup Sluice. This is the material we're left with. Now this is all our gons. This is all our waste material here. So it did its job. It reduced the material down by about, looks like about 6 times. So that's awesome. We're just going to use that as a catch pan, our tailing pile. So we're going to start stratifying that stuff down in there. Any of that tiny little gold that's still in there, we're going to catch it all down there in that bottom crevice. We hope to catch it all anyway. And catch up on chat here. Nick Moner, howdy, howdy. Cottonwood, my pal, welcome in. Hope everyone's doing good today. Hope everyone's having a golden Thursday. You know, it's Friday evening. It's Friday Eve. Today is Friday Eve. That means it is the eve of our Friday. Tomorrow's Friday. We're going to get rid of any of that left light material, and we're going to pan this heavier stuff down. We're going to pan it all back to show how the specific gravity is working inside of our pan as well. So the lighter material, the ganj, the waste material, is going to roll to the bottom of the pan after I stratify, and using a 3 to 6 degree angle, gently pull it back. There's some lighter material in there. I'm not 100% sure what the light sands are there where the wizard's at, but I'm going to say they're probably silicon or maybe even feldspar. It's hard to tell. It's compromised up of all the big stuff that's around there in Michigan where he's getting all this nice beach sand at. So essentially what that's done is it's caught most of the dense material that Sluice did. So we're wanting to leave only the densest stuff in the pan, and that's why we pan it out. All our gold prospecting always ends with a pan. I always like to say it starts with a pan and ends with a pan, because you start with a test pan until you find some color, and then the final cleanup that you do out of that material ends with a pan. So all your gold prospecting starts with a pan and ends with a pan, or at least that's what I think. Mandy's Candy, top of the morning to you. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm on my 3rd cup right now. There you go. Teresa Nass, welcome in. So guys, I'm going to be moderating a few people in here pretty soon. I know we had some new people coming in, and we want to share the love and share the kindness. So keep talking, keep letting me see you in there, and I will give you a wrench. Greg, top of the morning to you. Welcome to the Gold Kingdom. Pan back some more of this. And I can see already some tiny, tiny, tiny micros coming up, starting to shine. Starting to shine, they are. So remember, our goal to recover what we want to recover out of this is 0.05. I think that's about what Mama Bird missed, was about 0.05. But we don't know. We don't know exactly how much gold was in there. And we won't know. Last time Teresa did this, she was 13. Hobo Rob, he's having his Goldgers right now. I got my Goldgers right here, right there, having my little Goldgers in my cup. See there, guys? Mm-hmm. It's good too. Greg's in California. He says finds gold all the time there. Awesome, Greg. You know, Greg, that you live in a great place. I had some really good friends that just left California. Some that still live there, but was at the Yuba Nugget hunt there, and you know I've been watching their videos. Rob's in here. Rob was there, and I tell you what, they smashed the gold, buddy. They absolutely smashed it. I don't know if you guys can see this. But they're I'm seeing some tiny micros right here, right there, starting to show up. So there's definitely some shiny in here. Get this pan down a little bit. I can talk to you guys. When you get to this part, it's technique, patience, and there's a little bit of skill involved in getting rid of the dense black sand and only keeping the denser gold in your pan. And you have to figure out your technique for you. I can't I can't tell you what's going to work for you. I can tell you what works for me and the way that I pan, but that only works for me. And everybody out there has got an opinion when it comes to panning. But OGP thinks opinions are like armpits. We all have them, they all stink, and we should keep them covered up unto ourselves. I'm seeing quite a bit of micros showing up now. Quite a bit. And this is the tiny, tiny little micros. I can see how Mama Bird missed these last night because this is the tiniest of the tiny. The smallest of the small. The gold is so lit. Yeah, it is. It's tiny flour gold. But it adds up. It adds up fast. Cody Miller, howdy. Eric. How long till we get a gold bar? I don't know. I don't know. I've got lots of gold bars, but they're all in the safe. I'm trying to read chat here, guys. Idiot to the bittiest, says Cody. Yeah, and that's where it's at. That's where it's at, guys. If we can learn to recover the ittiest of the bittiest, that stuff's going to add up in your jar, in your flask, in your vial so fast, you'll have ounces of it before you know it. There's a little bigger chunk showing up there. A little bigger piece is starting to show up there. They're hiding. They're hiding under all that dense black sand. Remember, magnetite, which is what this mostly is, has a specific gravity of 5.2 to 5.7. Therefore, it is going to stay down at the bottom. And if the magnetite, hematite, the material that you're panning is bigger than the gold that you're panning, then it's going to win. So that's why you want to make sure you reduce it all down and everything in your pan is basically the same size. Then you have a better chance. You got a better chance of winning. That sun for me right now is in a position that it is absolutely melting me. Itty bitty adds up money. That's right, Teresa. Teresa, you've been in there long enough. We're going to go ahead and add you as a moderator. You connect to these other amazing channels, and they can connect to you. Cody says grains of sand make up the beach. And that is right. And all that sand came from something bigger. You know, here I have got some pieces of magnetite the size of my fist that I've picked up here. Solid magnetic magnetite. And they are amazing looking and wonderful. I got them out of the mountain range, the St. Francis mountain range here in Missouri. It's cool to see a lot of these pieces when they're still with their host rock or whatever brung them up to the surface, or how they were formed. And it's cool to identify the sands that you have in there too, you know. And that's another thing, the learning how to read the sands and the gravel bars in the rivers. You know, essentially the gravel bar, we've all been floating and been to the river, walking around, exploring, fishing, whatever. And you've seen gravel bars out there where it's just mainly gravel, and there's enough that you can stand on and fish and enjoy your day, stop your kayak, have a meal on, or what have you. Well, that's specific gravity in the river at work. There's a shear force or something that caused that gravel to drop out in that spot. So it's only natural that if there's gold being flowed down that river, that somewhere on that gravel bar, you should be able to find some gold. I know there's a lot to reading the river. When you're out there prospecting, getting this material natural, getting the wild gold, and that's something that me and Mama Bird, I was talking this morning about, was that I wish that there's a couple of rivers that is just absolutely amazing, full of gold here in this area. The trouble is I don't have no cell service down there. It's in the middle of the mountain range, deep in the forest area, and there's absolutely no way that I could ever go live there. So all I can do at the very best is make videos. But I think that the next time we're there, which may be this weekend, we're going to try just that. Now, there is a couple places we go. A new place that we just found that I do have signal in. So if we end up there, I may make a video on how what brought me to that spot, what made me go to that spot to dig, and show the variables, show the bedrock that's been exposed, show the way that heavies are dropping out, show the black sands sitting on top of the surface. All these are indicators. And there's rock indicators like quartz, rhyolite, feldspar, granite, garnets. You know, there's a lot of garnet sands that are indicators too. Anytime you have that denser material accumulating in one spot, dropping out in one zone, there's a high probability that you might find a little shiny. If there's any in that creek, there's a good probability that you might find some in there. I'm seeing a lot of gold. Let me look at chat here. Been hot at Cottonwood. Yeah, it's hot here right now. Bud Files, top of the morning to you. Welcome in. Yeah, reading the river, first thought. That's it. And, you know, reading the river and the geology of that river and the makeup behind the geography. What made that river? How long's it been there? Is it an ancient river? Is it a tributary from a man-made creek? Was there something in the glacier that made it? Was it made by a glacial push? Was it made by volcanoes? Did the volcanoes, when they come up? These are all important factors too, and these are also factors on the size of gold. You know, glacial till gold. A lot of time glacial till gold just means that there's gold, and it could be in mass forms, but it's all going to be like this. I mean, I think you guys can see that. It's all going to be like this tiny little fine gold, the glacial till stuff, most of it. But if it's outcropping gold, if it was brung up by quartz or rhyolite or feldspar during volcanic eruptions and tectonic plate fissures, then it's going to usually, that's when you're going to get into your bigger gold, your source gold. You know, that's what California and Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, that's the kind of gold that you're talking there. Utah, you're talking Oregon. There's a lot of volcanic gold, volcanic created deposits in them areas. And I'm lucky enough, me and Mama Bird, to live in a state that has a nice mountain range that was also created by volcanic eruptions and tectonic plates moving. The Madrid fault line actually runs right through the area that we prospect. And anytime that you have active earthquakes and that fault line has moved, open, closed, it can open fissures. It can create geysers. It can create water. It can create other minerals to come to the top. Sources. It can create host rocks to come to the top. And we've had 11 earthquakes in that area this year alone. So it's active, that the tectonic plates are actively moving there. So you never know from time to time when you go to the creek what's going to be there. And especially after a big flood, or if, you know, there's a lot of variables. Even not just, it doesn't have to be a flood. It can be a change in the water flow. There could be let's say a hurricane or a tornado that maybe didn't necessarily bring so much water to flood, but it pushed trees down. It moved things. It moved debris into the water, which created different turbulence, different shear points in the water. That can also generate and create flood gold. For for me, the gold prospecting, the boots on the ground, that's some fun stuff. Carson's, howdy howdy. Good morning, Vietnam, he says. Top of the morning to you, Carson. I hope you're having a wonderful day, my friend. I am gently panning out Mama Bird's tellings from her last night's show, Tiny Adventures, where she and Carl from Miller Outdoors each ran a bag of Flower Gold Wizard's Black Poison down tiny keychain sluices and seeing how much gold they recovered. Mama Bird recovered 0.20 grams. She done pretty good. I think Carl said he recovered 0.25 grams, so he did even better. Which, you know, Carl's an amazing prospector. I would expect that. But I told Mama Bird, I said, I'll bet you that there is a lot of tiny, tiny, tiny flower gold that was missed in there last night. So I'm going to run that through the micro cleanup sluice and then gently pan it all back. And we'll talk a little bit today about density, specific gravity, shear water, waste material, which is otherwise known as ganj. You know, imagine the scientists, why they picked that, or perhaps it was the hippies that picked the word ganj to use for, but to me, ganj means something else. Uh, but that's what waste material is called. Pretty cool. We're getting her down there. We're definitely going to have a weighable amount here. Beginner, search of detecting rare gemstone. Can I add nitric acid after this? In search of detecting rare gemstones. Well, I mean, if you got nitric acid, if you take nitric acid and muriatic acid, you can recover gold. You can use them two things and a couple other things to recover gold out of electronics once you break it down. and start the decomposition stage of it. It's very caustic, but you know, if you do it outside in a controlled environment and you're safety aware, it can be done, and it can be profitable too. Because nowadays, all of our electronics have gold of some sort in them. We can take it out. We know how to take it out. Pretty cool process. Miss Gail, Archaeology and Gold, said she'd like to see me do a show on that at some point, and I think I might. I think I might wait till fall or winter to do it though. That way I can be outside more comfortably. You guys seeing this? You guys seeing this galaxy of gold that's coming up in here? And Mama Bird, she did all this through the micro or the Dream Mat keychain sluice last night during her and Miller Outdoors Tiny Adventures. She did an amazing job. And this, you can't consider this gold lost, because look, we just found it. There it is. That is an amazing amount of shiny too, I'm going to tell you. We just about got her. Just about got her cleaned up. Man, it'd be time to weigh it up. We catch up with Chad here. Cyrus Snape says, hi. Welcome in, Cyrus. Ben Hubbard, howdy, howdy. Hope you're doing well. 70 amazing people in here. I hope you guys remember to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't. You know, guys, I recommend subscribing to all these channels in here. Subscribe back and forth, drop all your links, share all your latest videos, whatever you want to do. This is the Gold Kingdom. And here in the Gold Kingdom, you guys are in what makes up the kingdom. I just ask that you're polite, you're kind, and you share the love. And that's how we can do it. It's by subscribing back and forth to one another and sharing each other's stories. We're just real people doing real stuff. That is a pretty smile. Looky there. Isn't that a pretty smile? Let me see if I can zoom in on that. Oh yeah, how's that look? Oh yeah, how about that? Now see guys, that stuff adds up fast. That little tiny amount of beach sands that I just ran through there, I got enough gold out of that to move the scale. And just now, just about any gold that moves the scale is worth getting, because gold is, or last time I checked, was right at $108 a gram, which means for every 1/10 of a gram, you're looking at 18 bucks worth of gold. Or 11 bucks worth of gold, $10.80 every 1/10 of a gram. So that may be enough gas money to get me back to the creek right there. But as you guys all know, what GP and Mama Bird does with 80% of their gold is we just suck it up, weigh it up, do the enjoyment of getting to see it, getting to pan it out, and then we put it in some bags and we give it away to you guys, to our subscribers. So whatever's in here, I need to see what's in here. Now, here's what Mama Bird recovered last night. I've got it in the pan. Let me pour it in this. Let me show you guys what Mama Bird, this tiny fine fire gold that she recovered last night. Look at that, guys. That's what Mama Bird recovers. So she got most of it. She got most of it. So we're gonna turn the scale on here and do a quick weight on what she recovered there. 0.209, almost 0.21 grams. Let me see if I can turn this to where you guys can see it there. That's what Mama Bird recovered last night. So if I stand in there, you might be able to shadow that. You might be able to see it a little better. But we want to know what we just recovered, don't we? So I'm going to dump that in here. Then I'm going to take my snuffer bottle. That's got that gold we just recovered in there. Dump it in there. Get a little water in there to rinse it all out good. Dump it in there. It's dumped in there. Let me catch up with chat. Man, it's getting hot and humid out here. Well, thank you, beginner. I appreciate that. You've been in there long enough that you just earned your modernization. Welcome to the Gold Kingdom, my friend. So here's that gold. I'm going to pour the water off of it that we just recovered. You guys watched me recover using the Flower Gold Wizard Micro Mini Cleanup Sluice designed by Wesley Hatfield that I probably would have lost. If it had not been for that sluice system and using specific gravity, I would have probably lost this amount of gold. And again, there's not a lot here. There may be $5, $7 worth of gold here. But I'm going to tell you, if I did that 10 times, that's $50 worth of gold. That's a lot. And every time we go to the river, we get at least 10 buckets of material. Me and Mama Bird. Sometimes more than that. There it is. So there you have it. So I'm going to let that cool down just a little bit because I've learned that if you pour that into a hot plastic vial, that it melts. So we're going to let that cool down while you guys have a look at it there. And then we're going to weigh it. And then we're going to add what Mama Bird found in it and get an overall weight. Let me see if I can read chat while that's cooling down. Let me just set that down while it's cooling down. That might work better. Lisa, have a wonderful day. I think Mama Bird did awesome too, Lisa. I really do. I think her and Carl both did an amazing job. Maddie! Maddie. Welcome in, Maddie. Hook set John, howdy. Top of the morning to you, my friend. We still got 60 amazing people in here. And I'm still having some Goldgers in my cup. And now I think that's probably cooled down enough. We got that scale teared it up. I think you guys can still see it there. I do believe. I believe you can still see it there. We got her teared it out. We're going to pour it in. .034. So we recovered 0.034. 0.037. And then added with what Mama Bird found last night. Look at that. We got a quarter gram, 0.240. That's a quarter gram of gold. Woo-wee. Now that's what I'm talking about. So I'm going to close that down. That's some tiny fine. Actually, you know what? Let's zoom in on that if we can. So you guys can see it and look at exactly how tiny, how fine, and how small that stuff really is. I gotta find my camera. I don't see. There it is. There's the gold. Have a look at that tiny stuff. Isn't that awesome? So all this tiny little flour gold. All that tiny, tiny, tiniest of stuff. Look at there. We got us a 1/4 gram right there, guys. 1/4 gram of gold. 0.259. That's right there. We got about 30 bucks worth of gold right there. Move that out of the way. Let me tilt this camera up one time so you guys can have a look at the sluice system. Have a look at me while I'm sweating so profusely. So that's it. It was that simple. That didn't take long. It didn't take long at all. We talked a little bit about specific gravity. We talked about the key factors and how to break it down, sluicing for gold, and the reason that like gold nuggets, big rocks, big quartz rocks, big rhyolite, big granite rocks, how these move down the river through shear force. Talked about drag and lift force some, the turbulence of the water, the bed load transport, and the critical shear stress. And we related each one of these things to gold recovery and the sluice. We talked about the reason that we set the sluice up at the angles that we set it up at. And I am, look guys, I'm sweating. It's already 92 degrees here. What time is it? 9 o'clock, and it's 92 degrees. I'm sweating. Sun beating down. It's hot. But the coffee's good. Richard Dow, howdy pal. Welcome in. Howdy Nick. Thank you, Lisa. All these amazing people. Hookset John still in there. Howdy, howdy, guys. Please remember to hit that like button. I don't have a whole lot more to talk about. If you guys like this kind of stuff, I mean, usually like GP just comes on here, says this is the dirt, this is where I got it from, I throw it in there and run it down. But the way that my brain thinks and the way that I think, I'm really, really, really big into science, and I love to know the why. So them questions, send them to me. Send me them questions. Put it on a, leave it in a comment. After you guys, and this is over, leave it in a comment. If you guys have why questions, why does this work? How does this work? There's a good chance I won't know, but I'll do the research for you, and I'll find out, and I'll try my best to do it right. And, I like that kind of stuff. So send it to me. Bring me some challenges, the ifs, the whys, the hows. That's the kind of stuff I like. When we're sitting down and my mind's all the time thinking about this stuff, why is my sluice box clearing this material? But this piece of material, which seems to be light in nature and odd shape, is setting in there. And there's a lot to do with it. There's a lot of variables. And when you dig into it and learn them variables, then it makes me. We made it back, but it got hot. My phone got. We made it back, but it got hot. My phone got hot. That's what I'm talking about, guys. It's hot out here. But I managed, the phone cooled down. I managed to get it back. Let me adjust this a little bit. Sorry about that. Thanks for the 5 or 6 that's held in there on me. Appreciate it, guys. Phone just got hot. It's hot out here. It's very, 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 very hot out here. Yeah, I had the spinning wheel too. Phone, you're right, Rob. Rob knows me. Phone overheated. That's exactly what happened, pal. But it's back now. We're back now, for now. But it's going to overheat again because the sun is really beating down on me. I'm in the shade. I'm in a shade area. I got a canopy set up here, but it's not helping none. But we got some good gold. We ended up recovering what I thought we would out of there. We ended up with 0.256 of a gram out of that bag of Flower Gold Wizard Black Poison between Mama Bird and me. Fun stuff, great stuff. If you guys are interested in black poison, all you got to do is email jasonthemason@gmail.com, or go to the Flyer Gold Wizard page, and all of his information is in there. Pretty simple stuff. Jason's a great guy. Bacchus, flying stream fishing. Top of the morning to you. It's going to be 92 there today, Cottonwood said. Yeah, it's 92 here right now. So I don't know what the high is going to be. They originally said 98, but I think it's going to bloop over that. We're supposed to be back to triple digits starting tomorrow throughout the weekend. It's going great, fly stream fishing. Thank you for asking, my friend. And we just got through running the material. It was great. I don't, I can't say enough good stuff about this micro mini cleanup sluice by the Flyer Gold Wizard. And I'm going to be ordering a couple more of these before long. We're going to be doing some more giveaways. We're going to be giving some more of them away. I think everybody needs one of these, especially all my pals out there that prospect. I think they need one of these, because they're going to find that the light material, the heavy sands, the stuff that they get down to, this makes it so much easier to clean up and to retrieve that tiny, tiny micro flower gold. And it's going to increase your yield a lot. And me and Mama Bird would love to be the ones that gifted you, that you guys won one on a prize. That would be awesome. And we got some prizes coming up. We got another giveaway coming up before long. Mama Bird and Carl did an amazing giveaway last night. They gave away so much gold and so much pay dirt and so much fun stuff. And it was fun. It was a lot of good time. The Blind Prospector. Howdy, howdy. Top of the morning to you. So before my phone overheated, guys, I was just getting ready to say goodbye. And I think we're going to go ahead and say goodbye to you guys. Have a great day. Have a blessed day. I'm hot. I need to cool off. I'm excited. I'm going to get a hold of Mama Bird and let her know, hey, look at here. We've recovered another almost 0.06 grams out of that stuff. I got all my tilling saved. Once I cool down a little bit, I may run it again just to see, because you never know. That's the fun of prospecting. You run that material over and over and over, and that's the fun in it, And each time, if you just recover a little bit more each time, a little bit more, it won't be long until you got a jar full of gold. So heavy pans to each and every one of you. Remember, guys, be kind, be polite. Kindness is contagious, I promise you. That is an absolute. GP don't like to deal in absolutes. I like to deal, everybody has choices and variables. But when it comes to kindness, that's an absolute. Kindness is contagious. When you're kind to someone, or they're kind to you, you can see that reflection back in them and back in yourself. Stay humble. And hopefully, I'll get to see you guys out there around that little bend. We have a subscriber appreciation event coming up really soon. Right now, it's planned for the first week of September. And I realized that September the 1st is a Monday. I told Mama Bird this last night. I said, Monday, September the 1st, is Labor Day. Most everybody's off on Labor Day. If we backed it up a week and did the last week of August, so 2 weeks from now, if we was to do that, then that would give us a 3-day weekend to play in the mountains and get some of this beautiful shiny. So I'll be talking more about that Monday night and what to expect and when that's coming up. There's a lot of people out there that know the location, but not the exact location. And there's only two other people out there that know where we've been digging at. But we want to take you. We want to show you. We want you to sit right at the same spot, right there, right next to GP and Mama Bird and Joe and Hopper. And we want to get down in there in the mud and the blood and the beer and get that shiny out of the ground. And Joe is on some good stuff. Last week, the pictures he sent me, and I may post them. I may post them pictures soon so you guys can see it. The gold's getting chunkier, and he found a specimen too. So that means he's moving closer to either a deposit or to a source that's releasing it. And where we're at there in the mountain range, the gold was first discovered there in 1860. That's when it was discovered there in the mountains in Missouri. Well, that's when it's written down that it was discovered. I mean, there's stories and tales of the indigenous people finding it, and the Spaniards finding it, and the French finding it. The French settled in that area too, hence the name St. Francis Mountain Range. But anyway, I'm babbling. I'm a babbler. So, guys, y'all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. If we don't see you tomorrow night or Saturday, which you may see us go live then, if we make it down to the spot that the phones will work in, we're going to do live, and we're going to talk about reading the river while we prospect. If we don't see it in, I hope to see you Monday at 5:30 right here on this channel here. And then every Wednesday at 4:30 Central Standard Time, Mama Bird's on. And she's always got something fun planned to do, Mama Bird does. So hopefully we'll see you guys there. Thanks for coming. Love each and every one of you. Remember to stay humble. Share the kindness. Share the love. Because that's what it's about. You guys have a wonderful day. And we'll see you out there.